Ladies and gentlemen, Ross Andre here with you again from Team SF My Foot Hurts. We suffered our first loss of the season last week to Team Conan the Librarian. Kind of upset about that. I won't say it was such a loss as her team performed very well. However, I could have made some decisions that would have gotten me the win and put me to 2-0. However, I am unfortunately sitting at 1-1 with humble pie on my face. Indeed, after suffering that first loss. But let's take a look and see exactly what happened. First things first, my starting quarterback was Peyton Manning at home against the New York Giants, the matchup against baby brother. He accounted for 21.9 points. Not a bad game for Peyton Manning by any means, but I did expect about 25 or 26 points, which would have given me perhaps the victory. At the running back, I had Chris Johnson. Chris Johnson, home against the Pittsburgh Steelers, only accounted for 3.3 points. That's the thing about fantasy football. As you know, I bleed black and gold. Steelers are my team. Steelers, alright? But when someone's on your fantasy football team, you're kind of hoping that they do well, but your team still takes home the victory. Chris Johnson didn't do well. I'm glad that my Steelers laid the smackdown, but it would have been nice had Chris Johnson gotten a touchdown. In fact, if you recall, he had a touchdown that was called back as a result of a holding penalty. So here I am cheering, go, go, no. I hate when that happens, but it wasn't a touchdown that was called back, so my Steelers, they ruled, but it would have been nice for Chris Johnson to get me more than just 3.3 points. Okay. In any case, moving forward, so he cost me the game, but maybe I'll start next week, we'll see. Arian Foster was my running back. He did very well for me on the road against Washington, accounting for 13.8 points per game. He's quickly turning into one of the best running backs in the NFL. We'll see if he progresses. Donald Driver was my wide receiver for Green Bay. He accounted for 9.8 points. Wes Welker still making a nice comeback after his injury last season, accounted for 9.8 points in our league as well on the road against the New York Jets. Deshaun Jackson, a very impressive week, 20 points. I had a nice 50-yard completion and also a touchdown as well in the mix. I didn't expect much from Deshaun Jackson at all. I kept him in the game, and sure enough, he performed. 20 points, what can I say? We'll see what he'll do next week on the road against Jacksonville, but Deshaun did me very well last week. Vernon Davis from the tight end position accounted for 9.8 points. Very good from that slot. Stephen Gostkowski, my kicker. If you recall me talking last week, I thought that they might not score that many touchdowns, the Patriots, but I thought they would get some field goals. Well, they scored 2 touchdowns. And sure enough, I got 2 points rather than 6 or perhaps more. So that, you could argue, decision to start Gostkowski rather than another kicker cost me as well. But with New England, you're thinking they're going to score more points than just 2 touchdowns, and sure enough, did not materialize for me. And also, my Pittsburgh Steelers defense. Again, I got to hold up the ball because, once again, they put their thing down in a big way against Tennessee. They scored 28 points in the game for me. That's my leading score in the game last week. The Steelers defense, as they shut down Tennessee and got the win 19-11. So if you ask me, I could have gotten the win had I started Clinton Portis at home against the Houston Texans, or had I started Pierre Thomas on the road against San Francisco rather than Chris Johnson. So again, what do you know? What can you say? I thought Chris Johnson would have performed at home against the Steelers' tough defense. He did not. Hence, I lost. Again, Holly, congratulations. Bravo. I take back 1 or 2 things that I said last week, but I still think you need to be playing other library games like Find the Book or something. Anyway, looking forward to next week. The now 1-1 SF My Foot Hurts squad. We take on arch rival, the Rock and Rollers. Hated that movie. Terrible movie, by the way. Don't rent it. In any case, next week I will start, or this might change, we'll see, but Peyton Manning I've got on the road against Denver. Nice matchup. Denver, again, is not known for their defense, so I think Peyton Manning will continue to put up some very nice numbers. I've got Chris Johnson on the road against the New York Giants. That might change to, for example, Pierre Thomas at home against Atlanta, or perhaps Clinton Portis on the road against St. Louis. Even though Chris Johnson is a stud, you want to look for your best matchups. Although the Giants are not world beaters this year, they still have a tough defense, and it might be best to sit Chris Johnson, we shall see. Arian Foster at home against Dallas. I love that matchup. Dallas is 0-2. I think they'll be 0-3 next week. Arian Foster, expect big numbers from him. Wes Welker, still developing again. At home against Buffalo, he'll catch 9 or 10 balls and maybe get a touchdown. He's going to start for me. Deshaun Jackson, always a tough pick when Michael Vick is quarterbacking because you have no idea whether he's going to run the ball himself or throw the ball downfield. But I think I'll keep Deshaun Jackson in the game, although that might change to someone like perhaps Robert Meacham at home against Atlanta or Brandon Marshall at home against New York Jets. We shall see what I do there. Santana Moss, I like this matchup. They're on the road against St. Louis. Vernon Davis is on the road against Kansas City. He'll be my tight end most likely. Stephen Gostkowski, home against Buffalo. I like that matchup again. I think that whenever New England loses, they always seem to come back strong. So Gostkowski will start for me at the kicker position. And my Pittsburgh Steelers on the road against Tampa Bay, they will be starting for me. Pittsburgh, the defense seems to be playing like a team on a mission. They know that the offensive quarterback position is a bit shaky, to say the least. And I think they're standing up to prove some things, and they want to do very well and give their team the best chance to win. So they will be starting for me, the Pittsburgh Steelers defense. So also, the Rock and Rollers team has a very nice matchup. They've got Drew Brees home against Atlanta. Good matchup. Adrian Peterson home against Detroit. Good matchup. Amon Bradshaw home against Tennessee. A little shaky there because we know Bradshaw's had his issues. Roddy White on the road against New Orleans. Good matchup. Dwayne Bowe at home against San Francisco as his wide receiver for Kansas City. Good matchup. Marcus Colston, his wide receiver, home against Atlanta. Good matchup. Antonio Gates, good matchup. Garrett Hartley, the kicker for New Orleans. Yet again, another good matchup. And lastly, the Baltimore Ravens home against Cleveland. A great matchup because, as you know, Cleveland's offense has been non-existent for the past decade or so. So I do expect this game as a whole to be a very good matchup. Another close game. I lost by 5 points. I expect to win by about 5 points this week. We'll see what happens in next week's matchup against the Rock and Rollers. So again, this is the 1-1 SF My Foot Hurts. Ross Andre signing off. Be sure to follow us on NFL.com again next week. Wish me luck. I want my foot to hurt some more against Vince. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. Take it easy.